Yo, what's up everybody, FornaTRON here, and today we're talking about something new. We're talking about Bloodborne 2 and how it's never going to happen. I've been seeing this rumor pop up here and there for years, and I just find it comical at this point. Like, people will post rumors that Bloodborne remake is in the works any day now, or Bloodborne PC port coming out soon, and it's never going to happen. It just makes me laugh every single time I see it, or every time I see a tweet. It's insider says that Blue Point's making a visit to Yharnam, and it's no, they're not. I first want to start off by saying that this is all speculation, and this is just my semi-educated guess onto what's happening with Bloodborne and Fromsoftware and Sony, etc. For those of you who don't know, Fromsoftware started working with Sony in 2009 on Demon's Souls, and Demon's Souls was a flop. It did not have a good release. It was kind of a rough release, and it wasn't until way later on that it kind of picked up in popularity due to Dark Souls 1 being released. I'm starting the story off here because this is the first part of speculation that I have, and I feel like Fromsoftware and Sony kind of had this 3-deal contract or 3-game contract. Kind of similar to the kind of deals that you get in the music industry. I feel like it's the same for gaming as well, or just how Sony practices things. So they probably signed on Fromsoftware to work on a 3-game deal, and Demon's Souls was the first game in their obligation. And it had a rough launch. After that, Sony was probably like, hey, thanks for coming out. Thanks for coming to the show. We had a good time, but I think we're going to part ways for now. And then Fromsoftware was like, all right, we're going to not just completely steal this entire game and bring it to another publisher because we think we're onto something here. They basically carbon copied Demon's Souls as much as they possibly could and made Dark Souls with Bandai Namco. And that game was a massive success. That's what kind of blew up Fromsoftware, and that was in 2011. And after Dark Souls released, and it was a major success, that's when Sony was like, hey, remember that deal that we had? Yeah, that whole Dark Souls thing? Yeah, we're gonna completely ignore that it's a complete ripoff of Demon's Souls. It's basically the same game, but just come back and make us the same thing and release it exclusive to our platform and we'll be good. And that's how Bloodborne got made. Bloodborne, another massive success for Fromsoftware and Sony. I wouldn't say maybe it wasn't a massive success. It was successful, but it's not a mega huge hit. It's no Horizon Forbidden West or Horizon Zero Dawn or God of War, but it did really well. I think it sold around 5 million units within its first year. I don't have the number specifically, but I'll bring them up here. Bloodborne, a really big success. It's also a critical success. It's been known as being one of the best games ever for the longest time, just until Elden Ring came out. It was my favorite game until Elden Ring came out. But again, I feel like that was game number 2 in Sony and Fromsoftware's 3-game contract. Dark Souls is still their cash cow, so they're going back to that, and they make Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, and then they make Dark Souls 3, which is another mega huge success for Fromsoftware. Then Sony's like, hey, we still got 1 game left on your obligation. Do you want to do it? And Fromsoftware's like, sure, yeah, we'll put something out. They released Dercine, which is a VR game, and that was kind of a twofold for Fromsoftware. 1, it's the final game in their contract, so they just got to get that out there. 2, they got to dabble their feet in the Unreal Engine and kind of test out that engine and try a little funky game in VR and do something a little bit different. And that was kind of their way of sunsetting that relationship with Sony. Then they work with Activision on Sekiro, and that was just a one-off. I feel like Activision offered Fromsoftware a truckload of money and was like, we don't care what you make, just please make us a game that's awesome, or just a game that you would make, and we're happy to publish it and throw all the money at you. And Fromsoftware is like, yeah, absolutely, we got this huge massive game in the works called Elden Ring, we need some money, that would be great. And I kind of feel like Sekiro was their way to secure some FU money. Now fast forward to today, Elden Ring releases, it's their most massive successful hit that they've ever had. It's already sold more copies than all of Dark Souls 3 has sold, and it's just gonna keep growing from there. I definitely feel like the relationship between Sony and Fromsoftware is not soured by any means, but I feel like it's not beneficial for either party to make a game exclusive to one single console, because I love Bloodborne, but there are so many Souls fans out there who have not played Bloodborne simply because they refuse to buy a PlayStation just to play it. That blows my mind. But I definitely feel like FromSoftware is not looking to make another game that's exclusive. They kind of can just do their own thing now. They have enough money. They've secured themselves as a developer in this day and age in gaming. They're just cool to make whatever new IP that they want. That being said, Bloodborne is still owned by Sony. Sony can do whatever the hell they want with it. The whole like it's gonna have a PC port or it's gonna get remastered, they've had the ability to do that for years. It could have been one of the first games that they brought over to PC. Like that would have been nothing for them to do, because FromSoftware doesn't have to work on the PC port. They didn't work on Dark Souls Remastered. A third party did that. So they could have just did the same here. This has got me thinking of two different scenarios of why they haven't done this yet. So scenario number one, Sony and FromSoftware, they're done with Bloodborne. It's in the past. It's something that they look fondly on, but that chapter's over and they're moving on to different stuff. Or, this is probably the one that a lot of people are holding out for, option two, they're planning some kind of reboot of Bloodborne, either with a remastered version or a remake made with Bluepoint Games, and they're just looking for the opportune time to release that in between all of their mega hit AAA titles like Horizon Forbidden West, God of War, etc. So they're just trying to find like a lull point in their time period where they could potentially just release that game and then just have it be like a quick success. I also don't know if that's gonna happen. I could imagine like some kind of like anniversary edition, or like maybe like a quick remaster. They would rake in so much money and it'd be so easy for them. But I personally think, just out of respect for FromSoftware, that they're not gonna do that. Like I feel like they're just gonna leave it the way it is, and maybe that just keeps the slate open for FromSoftware coming back to Sony if the time is right. And the whole Bluepoint Games is working on a new IP and it's gonna be Bloodborne 2. I just don't think that's happening. Like that would be so disrespectful to FromSoftware, and I just don't think Bluepoint, even as good as the Demon's Souls remake was, I don't think that they have the art style or the vision to pull off a Bloodborne 2. I would like to see like a partnership between FromSoftware and Bluepoint, kind of how Japan Studio was the Sony studio that FromSoftware worked with to make Bloodborne. I think Bluepoint could fit that shoe and they could be the new Japan studio to work with FromSoftware. I just don't see it happening though. I feel like Bluepoint is going to legitimately make a new IP. Maybe they'll make a Souls-like with everything that they learned from Demon's Souls, but I just don't see them making a Bloodborne 2.
Meow.